Hello students, welcome all of you. Welcome you all in my video lecture once again. Dear students, myself is Ravindra Budwansar from Sri Tilok Jain Higher Secondary Vidyalaya Patradi. Students, we started this chapter Adsorption and colloids from 11th standard chemistry. In some few lectures we studied the adsorption concept, and then we started with the second concept, that was catalysis. In the catalysis, in last video we studied about the introductory part, and then homogeneous catalysis and heterogeneous catalysis. Students, in this video we are going to study one more new topic, and the name of the topic is adsorption theory of heterogeneous catalysis. Dear students, what is adsorption theory of heterogeneous catalysis? Heterogeneous catalysis means the process of catalysis in which the reactants and catalyst are in different phases. That means catalyst may be present in solid state and the reactants in liquid or gaseous state. So therefore this is known as heterogeneous catalysis. Now what is adsorption theory of heterogeneous catalysis? So heterogeneous catalysis occurs by adsorption phenomenon. That is, when solid catalyst is there, then liquid or gaseous reactants, they get adsorbed on the surface of this catalyst, they get reacted, and the product is formed, which is again desorbed from the surface of the catalyst, and therefore we say that this catalysis, it is the adsorption phenomenon. Adsorption theory of heterogeneous catalysis. The catalytic action occurs on the surface of catalyst. What are main points here in this topic? The catalytic action occurs on the surface of a catalyst. So catalytic action occurs on the surface of catalyst. Let's say this is the catalyst, and on the surface of catalyst, the catalytic action, that is catalysis, process of catalysis takes place on the surface of this catalyst. The catalysis process takes place. Now what are steps of mechanism in this catalysis? First step, diffusion of reactants towards surface of catalyst. So when the reactants come in contact with the catalyst, solid catalyst, the reactants, the molecules of reactant, they get diffused to the surface of the catalyst. So diffusion takes place towards the surface of the catalyst. Second step, adsorption of reactants on the surface of catalyst. So adsorption of reactant molecules on the surface of catalyst. So after diffusion, what happens? On the surface of the catalyst, the molecules which are to be reacted, they get adsorbed. So these molecules which are diffused here, they get adsorbed on the surface of the catalyst, that is solid catalyst. Then third step, chemical reaction on catalyst surface and formation of an intermediate. So third step is formation of the intermediate. That means the reactants, they react chemically with each other on the surface of the catalyst, and then the intermediate is formed. Now what is intermediate? It is not main product. It is the intermediate species, in between species between the reactants and products. So from reactants, intermediate is formed, which is quite unstable. It is short-lived species, and then from this species the main product, which is desired product, it is formed. So chemical reaction on the catalyst surface takes place, and formation of the intermediate is there in this third step. So intermediate is formed. Then fourth step, formation of products. So from intermediate the products are formed. So intermediate is converted into main product as well as byproduct or side product. Then next step, desorption of products from the catalyst surface. Now desorption, we have studied this term. Desorption means leaving of the surface by the product form, that is adsorbed particles or molecules, they leave the surface of the adsorbent. So molecules or particles of the adsorbate which are adsorbed on the surface of the adsorbent, they leave the surface. It is called as desorption. It is the opposite process to the adsorption. So these particles which are formed as a product, they leave the surface of the catalyst, and it is called as desorption. So product molecules, they leave the surface of the catalyst, known as desorption. So desorption is the next, that is fifth step here. Now fresh reactant molecules replace the products. Fresh means new reactant molecules again replace the products to start the cycle again. So what happens when this cycle is completed? That is diffusion, then adsorption, then formation of intermediate, and then formation of product, and lastly desorption. What happens? The new reactant molecules, fresh reactant molecules, they again diffuse to the surface of the catalyst, then they again react with each other, then intermediate is formed. So this cycle goes on again and again. So fresh reactant molecules replace the products. Products leave the surface, and new reactant molecules are diffused to the surface of the catalyst. So replace the products to start the cycle again. So this cycle, it goes on again and again. So to start the cycle again, the fresh molecules replace the products. Catalyst remains unchanged in mass and chemical composition. So here catalyst remains unchanged in mass as well as chemical composition. So there is no change in the mass of the catalyst as well as there is no change in the chemical composition of the catalyst, because we know there is no role of catalyst in the formation of the product. There is no any permanent chemical change in the catalyst. Therefore catalyst remains unchanged in mass and chemical composition. Now we shall see these steps once again in the form of flow chart. So first diffusion, it is the first step, diffusion of reactant molecules to the solid catalyst. Then second step, adsorption of the reactant molecules on the surface of catalyst. Third step, intermediate formation of intermediate product on the surface of catalyst. Then fourth step, formation of product formation on the surface of catalyst. And lastly, fifth step, desorption of the product from the surface of the catalyst, that is leaving of the product molecules from the surface of the catalyst. And again, so fresh molecules of reactants, they replace the product, and again this cycle is continued. So in this way the cycle is continued. Here fresh molecules of reactants, they replace this product after desorption, and then from diffusion these steps again start and cycle is continued. So again and again. So this is the adsorption theory of heterogeneous catalysis. So here we shall stop. You see my videos, upcoming videos, to study the different new topics. Thank you very much.